Well, my guest is Paul Papa, which is a great name, and I was thinking it could be Greek, but it's not. It's Italiano. And I'm Ninon, your host, Ninon de Verde Rosa, and we're on Vegas Live with Ninon, and we're at the Quirky Minds media studio. And what are we going to be talking about? Writing, and I noticed on the little thing I get that you're a ghostwriter.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if anybody knows what a ghostwriter is. A ghostwriter is somebody that writes a book that's never known, never seen, and has his name on nothing.
No, that's exactly right. You're a ghost.
but they do all the work.
Yes.
So, and I've often thought to myself, well, how cool! It's very cool, but at the same time, I hate to say this, I'm going to say it though, you're really a nobody.
Well, yeah, but that's actually kind of one of the nice things about it. I do like it. I enjoy it very much.
Do you like not being known?
Yes.
And you sit back and you listen to all the criticism.
Yes.
And then you sort of say, that's what I do.
That's right. And then if it's bad, I don't have to take it personally.
No, if it's bad, you just don't say anything.
That's right.
You just sit there and say, yes, I agree with you.
Yes.
What made you a ghostwriter?
I started out on accident. I found a book that this lady had written, and it was, you could tell that there was a gem of something there.
Yes.
And I had been writing training manuals for years, so I'm used to writing things without my name on it. I got this book, and I went to her and said, I think I could make this book better for you. And she was a little skeptical at first.
Because, oh, really?
Well, the problem with being a ghostwriter is you can't tell people who you've written for. So that's the one bad thing about it.
So you never have a resume?
No, it's always word of mouth. Somebody else has to say, hey, try this person and try that person.
If you're looking for a ghostwriter, try this person.
Yeah.
And they have to really know who they're doing it for, because they don't want their name or anything involved with what they did.
Absolutely. And you have to sign a non-disclosure
agreement. Talk about a catch-21.
Yeah, you sign a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't tell you any books I've written. I can't tell you any people I've written for.
But you've got two books right here.
Well, but these are mine. See,
hang on a second.
These have my name on them.
This has your name on it.
Yeah, these are ones that I wrote that I didn't ghostwrite, because I also write for my own stuff.
You also write for yourself and everything else. And what sort of books are these?
So I write both fiction and nonfiction, and this book right here is a fiction series set in 1950s Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And it's about a guy who comes to Las Vegas for a bachelor party and doesn't leave. That
happens to a lot of people here, by the way.
Yeah. He has ties to the mob in Boston, where he's from. His father is a fixer.
Okay.
A fixer is somebody if you kill somebody, or that you weren't supposed to, or you kill somebody you were supposed to in the wrong place, then he fixes it.
He fixes it.
And so,
do you know any of these people?
I can't say if I do or not.
The ghostwriter has appeared.
So,
there he is. I'm afraid to ask him any question. I can't answer that one. We're going to have a great conversation about nothing.
It's going to be short though, right?
So what you call a conversation about nothing. You're never going to get anywhere. You're not going to find out who he is. You're not going to have... I mean, you're not going to tell me anything.
Oh, I'll tell you stuff.
You have a website?
I do have a website.
Well, can we have it?
Yes.
Anyway, back to your... So this is a series.
Yes, it's
a
series.
Is it 13 episodes or how many books? Is it
It's currently 2 books. It's going into its third. Will be released a little bit later this month.
And is there a film made of this, or is there is it a series on Netflix?
It's not yet, but it'd be nice if you know somebody. Show them the book.
I don't know anything either.
It'd be nice if it was a series on Netflix, but
that might be cool.
That would be very nice.
Yeah, and they're looking for stuff.
They are.
You know what most people don't understand? That every single network out there, or every single channel or television, they are looking to fill their 24 hours every single day. So they're always looking for stuff. And people say, oh, they won't like mine, or, I'm not good enough, or I'm not well known. That has nothing to do with it. They are always looking for stuff. So just get in touch with Netflix. What can happen? They can say no.
That's true.
If you didn't get in touch with them, it is no. But if you get in touch with them and they say no, then at least you know.
Well, that's what I always think. All they can do is tell you no. I already don't have a contract with them.
Don't have a contract. I don't know them. I don't know anything. So what difference does it make?
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
And there's another one. I think Lulu, and there's Disney, and there's
Lulu.
Disney, and there's all sorts of Ruco, and there's so many of them out there that you can go. So I sound like his manager.
Okay.
But I'm not. No, because I don't want to...
Now I have homework.
I don't want to be with anybody. You can't mention their name or who they are or what they are. I think it's funny. What's the other book behind
this
it?
book, I also write nonfiction, and I'm very fascinated with Las Vegas and older vintage Las Vegas.
Oh, really?
And so this book deals with all the places in Las Vegas that you can go to that are vintage, that have been here for a long time or have a vintage connection.
So you've got to have
And
the
you can still
Peppermill
go
in
to
there,
it.
right?
The Peppermill's in there.
Yeah, of course.
The Golden Steer Steakhouse is in there.
Golden Steel. I didn't know that was old, is it?
Yes, 1954 it started.
That's before
55,
Peppermill
55.
was 72.
Yeah.
So-
And that's the steakhouse is where the Rat Pack used to go to, and they still have their bench where they used to sit. Excuse me. In fact, you can sit in that same bench if you go in there.
Oh, I sat in
So-
the bench of the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Rat Pack were what? Four? They said there were 5 Rat Pack people.
Well,
because there was
you know-
Joey Bishop, Sammy Davis, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra. Who was the 5th?
There was Peter Lawford, but
And
he
Peter
didn't.
Lawford, but he was never.
He never was really on stage with them, but he was
That's
considered part of the
so
Rat
that
Pack.
was his. That was the 5.
Yeah.
So that is kind
and,
of the.
and that was their connection to Kennedy because he was Kennedy's brother-in-law.
That's right. He
Yeah.
was married to one of the Kennedys.
Yeah,
That's
so-
a story in itself.
It is, yeah. So that was their connection to Kennedy, and yeah. they
Yeah,
used
the
to-
Kennedy in there, you know, they were quite a family. Well, they were the family with the liquor, and now who is the family with the marijuana? Because
It's a good question.
isn't that the same thing?
It is now,
You know, when
yeah.
the liquor came in, it was all undercover, and we
Yeah.
couldn't have it in this state and that state, and the Kennedys got hold of it, and now we've got this marijuana, which, and it seems like they're getting more and more states involved.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
We just came in, and who knows who's going to be next?
You came,
No, I
Boston?
mean Nevada just came
Oh
in.
no, Nevada
so,
came in. And they agreed with it
Yeah,
all. That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, and I think New Jersey. I'm not sure where.
Oh,
I
that
don't
could be.
know. I don't.
That could
I don't
be.
know. I don't really follow it. But I do know. Everybody says, "Oh no, it's never going to be." I think it's a little late to get rid of it. I don't think.
so.
I think it's too
That
late.
ship might have sailed already. Yeah,
Yes, and that's out on this big ocean, and it's landing in many ports.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what have you got coming up? You got. You know,
I have the next book in the Rosie series. It's going to be coming up later this year, and I'm starting a new series, a paranormal
What's the name
mystery.
of the series?
It's called Nightmare.
Nightmare. Okay.
And it's a paranormal mystery.
Okay.
I
It's a
like
real
to-
nightmare.
It really is a nightmare. I like to write. My favorite thing to write is pulp fiction noir,
Okay.
old noir stuff. So
And where
this
do you
is-
get
this
all
is a
that
crime noir.
inspiration from? Where do you
I watch a lot of old movies.
Okay. Oh,
And-
wow.
And I really enjoy old movies. And then I was a fan of the television series Supernatural that
Okay.
just ended this year.
Yes.
And one day I was sitting around and I thought, I wonder what it would be like if Raymond Chandler wrote an episode of Supernatural. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, what if he wrote the whole series Supernatural? And then I thought, well, what if I wrote a series? And so that's how I got to Nightmare.
So in all your writing as a ghostwriter, also writing for yourself, what has really sort of inspired you, or sort of, you know, you really thought, you know, I've made it, I've got there, I'm doing what I love to do, and everybody likes it.
I think when I was able to quit my job, my full-time job, and just
Really?
write, that's when I realized, okay, I can
You
do
can
this.
now
I
do
make a
this. I
living
can make
at
a
it.
living
Yeah.
on this, and I've reached
Yeah.
the epitome of where I need to reach to keep things going.
Yeah.
And since that has happened, has it been worthwhile?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Yes, because
you
you've
know,
got more time.
I have more time. I'm doing what I like to do. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who doesn't have a job. Probably.
Well, he doesn't have a job because nobody knows.
Well, no.
Oh, we're back to the old thing again. Nobody knows.
But I mean,
him.
it's probably like you because you don't really work. You just do things you enjoy.
Well,
And so I go and do things I
but
enjoy,
you
and
know
I don't
something,
feel like it's
but
work.
I've done that all my life.
Oh.
I have never worked in my. I think the hardest thing I ever worked on was my marriage. That's a job.
That can be a job.
That
yes.
is a job because it's not always the way you want it,
Yes.
and that you're dealing with somebody else from a completely different family 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
I was married for 29 years and my husband passed away, which is a tragedy for me because we had a great relationship.
Oh,
We had
well,
and he was
that's
Italian.
nice. Oh, was he?
Yeah, he
Well,
was
see,
Italian.
there you go.
Signore Italiano. You see, oh no, we had a fabulous marriage.
Oh, wonderful.
Absolutely, yeah. I guess so. You know, I'm
Yeah.
very contented with that part of that. But you're right. It's sort of life is very different. But life is really what you make of it.
Yeah.
But life for you is making it without anybody knowing.
Yes.
How do you cope with that?
You know, it really doesn't bother me because
It's a mystery.
there's a lot of writers that get famous and then they can't go do things that they would normally do. I'm not
You're not that type.
I'm not that type. I can still go do everything that I want to do, and I still make the money that I need to make to survive.
Yes, to survive. Yes.
But I don't have that name recognition outside.
So you don't have to deal with the
world.
Public out there. You don't have to say, "Oh, there's that person." I was in a store the other day, and I had no makeup on. I had my cap on. And this guy's doing something. He suddenly turns around to me. He said, "Oh, Vegas Live with Ninon." And I go, "Oh no!" But at the one time, sometimes it's good because they recognise you and obviously appreciate it. But then when you're not looking like you want to look,
absolutely,
you want them to see you like this. You know, you want them all dressed up.
Yeah.
Okay, but that happens, so you don't have to worry about that. That's cool, isn't it?
I don't.
So at the moment, you've got this whole 24 hours a day, well, probably. And do you have spasms of when you want to write and when you don't want to write, and or do you put yourself into a place because being a ghostwriter, you have to finish this book because it's only books, right? His ghostwriting is only for books or films, I guess it could be.
It could be for films.
Yes, it could be for films. Do you just make a point of finishing that and doing that and very concentrated? Because working at home can be a little bit distraction.
It can. I treat it like a job. I'm lucky that I had training that benefited me that I didn't even know benefited me, and that is I was an investigator for one of the strip hotels for a long time.
Oh, really?
And so I wrote a lot of security reports, and a security report has to be written when it comes in.
Yes.
You can't just wait till you're inspired
2 or 3
to write
days.
it.
Yes, you can't do it. It has to be at the
Absolutely.
moment, on time at the moment.
Yeah, and I didn't have a quiet place to write. I had an office that everything was going around me, and so it taught me to write when noise is going on. It taught me to sit down at any time of the day and write. Doesn't mean that everything I write is the greatest thing in the world, but
you are
I've
a
trained
journalist.
myself to sit and write.
You are. You sit and write.
Yeah.
You write what you see and how you see it. We all see everything different. So I could write the same story as you and be completely different.
Absolutely, that's very true.
You know, and then they look at you and say, "Well, how did you see it that way?"
Yeah.
You know, which is always the criticism.
Yes.
Did you ever know Freddie Otash?
No.
Freddie Otash was one of the biggest private eyes in America.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from Los Angeles.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. He was a Lebanese guy, great big, tall Lebanese guy.
Yeah.
But he was a private eye as well. And he did a lot of the movie stars and those people. But he was in Los Angeles, not Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So you must have a lot of stories that you're going to put pen to paper on.
I do.
Are you doing it now, or you?
Well, you know, even in my fiction book, even in this book, I put a lot of truth in there. So I put the people that are in there are real people. Some of them. The situations are real. The places are real.
Yeah.
Things that have happened.
Yes.
A lot of that's real, and of course,
that makes it
changed
really.
some different things.
Well, I'm sure you changed names and different things like that. Like any book, that's definitely a ghost thing going on all the time because people don't want their name. But also, you could get sued, so you have to be very careful.
You have to be careful.
Yeah. So when you tell a story, it has to be the right story. So since you have all the documentation of all these different stories, you're not going to go wrong because it was put out there.
Absolutely.
Nobody criticized it then. Why would they criticize it now?
Yeah.
So you've got proof.
So yes, I do.
So what is your next big thing apart from doing all this? What's your big thing? I'm not going to ask him who he's ghostwriting for because he's not going to tell me.
Apparently, my next big thing is Netflix. I just have to go get it.
Okay, yeah. Well, isn't that in life though?
Yes.
Whatever you want out there, you personally, you can't rely on anybody else, and I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
You have to do it yourself. Otherwise, it's not going to get done. It's not going to happen. But then it won't happen the way you want it either.
Yeah.
So you have to go out there. So you get word of mouth for your ghostwriting, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if somebody used me and they liked me, and then they hear somebody else is looking for somebody.
Any great stories you've written that you've really thought, wow, is this really true, and did this really happen?
I've had a couple where I've had to wonder if this was real or not.
Or take a big breath and did this really happen?
And the hardest thing about ghostwriting is to write it in that person's voice, because you don't want to write it in your voice.
No, you have nothing. Well, he really has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, you really don't want to.
You can't change any of the words. You can't do anything at all. No. Do they give you a script complete, and then you have to put it together? Or
sometimes I have a script. Sometimes I just sit and talk with them.
You just sit and talk, and you make a recording of everything they say.
Yeah,
and
if they let me. If not, then I take a lot of notes.
Can you imagine taking? You got this book. I mean, how many pages? 200-300 pages at least. You know.
Oh,
so you got to take notes of a 300-page book.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not easy to do, but
no, it's not easy to do. So anybody out there that wants a book written and they want a ghostwriter, how can they reach you?
You can find me on my website, which is paulwpapa.com.
Okay.
You can find me on Facebook under the same
I
thing.
like that, papa.com. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Papa.com. pp.com. What a cool name.
Thank you.
Should be pp.com. There you go. I love it. So they can find you on Facebook and any of the social media
Any of the social
out
platforms,
there.
all under Paul W.
Any
Papa.
particular books you like to ghostwrite, or is it anything?
I really enjoy more memoirs. I like to hear people's stories.
Yes.
I'm very interested in.
So you
in
like
their
biographies
life
and everything
yeah.
like that. So their
Yeah.
life and everything. Especially if you're older out there. And I know that in Vegas there are a lot of older people out here that are celebrities that really live that life
Yes.
out here. There's one person, actually, I'm trying to get him on my show. His first name is Martin, but he hasn't called me yet, but I got to call him.
Yes.
And he's got a stories to tell. I'm sure that he would love to have it written all down. Because
Well, I would love to do it. Especially people who have been around the block several times.
this guy's been around the block.
Yeah. Those are the stories to tell.
There's a lot of,
Those are the interesting things.
Yeah. There's another guy, I think, Fred Domaney, here in the Tropicana, and he's still in the family here, and he's still out. I'm quite sure he's got a good story to tell.
Yeah, I bet.
That he would like. So these are all these people. So how do you know how to get to these people? Or?
Usually they come to me.
They have to come.
There are sometimes.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, there's sometimes I'll go to somebody and I'll try to tell them, but then again, they don't know who I am.
Of course not.
And so
that's why we've got him
I
on
can't
the
give
show.
them any references.
Well, now you
so-
can. Now you can. Now you're going to be out there. You're going to be on. You're going to
Absolutely.
be on all the social media
Yeah.
platforms and everything else. So now you're going to know, and you can get in touch. Did you give your phone number?
I didn't. I can give
Do you
my
want
phone
it? Do you want
Sure.
it? Yes, go ahead.
It's 702-858-3720.
So give him a call, and then it'll be completely quiet. Nobody will know who anybody is. And the greatest ghostwriter, actually,
Yes.
in Las Vegas.
Ah, thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Thank,
Thank
you, Paul, for coming
Thank
on.
you for having
we'll be
me.
right back with our next guest. Take care. If you enjoyed the last show we just did and all the other shows, don't forget to subscribe Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube. We've got plenty more coming up, and our guests are amazing. So don't forget to subscribe. We'll be right back. Vegas Live with Ninon.